The biggest question people have are where do we think he's gonna go? Because there's a lot of talk that the Jets might be interested because they have a lot of draft capital. The Jaguars, like you mentioned, are a potential landing spot, but I don't know if they do that within the division. That sounds insane to me.
AFC South teams they don't
Unless,
do business with each other.
hear me out on this. There is one scenario where I think he could potentially go to Jacksonville, and it would involve that number one pick. They would have to give up that number one pick, and it would essentially be a straight swap for Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. And that would be blockbuster. And if you're the Texans, right, and you're offered something like that, if you're offered Trevor Lawrence for Deshaun Watson, I think that's a bit of a no brainer. But then the question becomes, is that all you're getting in the trade, and is that worth it when you can probably get three draft picks within the first 34 picks with the Jets, or this very similar offer from Miami, and you can get Tua Tagovailoa in exchange for that. But then the question becomes, is Tua your guy? Would you be cool with sticking with Sam Darnold if he's a part of that trade? There's a lot of moving parts to it, and I do think at the end of the day, it's going to be the Jets. I think the Jets are probably the favorite, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they have a lot of draft capital. And that number two pick is going to be looking very nice. And for a team that doesn't have a lot of picks in the years moving forward, if you're the Houston Texans, that number two pick you could use actually to trade down and get more picks because Justin Fields is still a quarterback that's going to have a market at number two. People are going to trade up to get him. So I think if you have that in your back pocket if you're the Houston Texans, that's worth more. And like if you want to have Sam Darnold as part of the deal, you can have that. If you want to draft another person like Trey Lance, you can do that as well. I think that gives you the most flexibility is staying with the Jets. And for Deshaun Watson, I think that's one of his big landing spots that he wants to go to. I think he wants to go to New York, and he's made it known through his surrogates and whatever. So I think that's going to be something to watch. I think that's the landing spot right now. Of course, it could change throughout the next few months, but I think that's where he's going to go.
I don't see it as much that way, only because I think about first with Jacksonville, Urban Meyer just took the job there, even though Shad Khan, I know this more than anybody, AFC South teams really don't do business with each other. That's just not, it really has never been a thing. It's not a thing, especially for big name players like that. Urban Meyer just got there. The first thing is not going to be, we're going to trade away because they have all that cap room too. I don't think they're going to take on that big ass contract with that cap room and trade away. Remember, the thing with that number one pick is even though it's guaranteed money, that salary that they're going to pay him for a talent that they're getting there's a reason the number one pick is so coveted, is that you're essentially getting a very talented player for pennies on the dollar
Right.
so I don't see Shad Khan making that move. With the Jets could be a viable option. I don't necessarily see it, though, only because I think Sam Darnold could potentially be the guy. I think the Jets' move is going to be they're going to retain that pick if they don't trade down. I think instead of them trading the pick or drafting a quarterback, they draft the wideout Devontae Smith out of Alabama to at
He's
least
a stud. Kid's a stud.
Give Sam Darnold something. You know what I'm saying? It's at least you give Sam Darnold something to work with, and you also show Sam Darnold, we're committed to you. We still believe in you and everything like that, and you build the team around those two. Here's one that doesn't get talked about, and you know what? I don't see Jared Goff. Could we potentially see Deshaun Watson go out west?
That's an interesting scenario. I don't think that that's going to be likely. One, because the Rams don't really have the draft capital to make that go down unless they were willing to give up like 5 first rounders in like next 5 years. I don't think that's gonna happen. Plus their picks are later, and you know what? You're gonna make Jared Goff part of the trade. Is Jared Goff at that salary he's getting paid? He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in football right now. Is that worth it for the Texans to take on another big salary when you can get a Trey Lance or that kid Wilson from BYU or whoever, right?
Even Mac Jones
from Alabama, an Alabama quarterback that actually might have some talent. I mean, there's been a string of them lately, actually, but regardless, I don't think that, because there's also a lot of talk about John Wolford, who's in I was about to say St. Louis, who's in LA right now with the Rams. There's a lot of talk about him, and there's a potential quarterback controversy brewing. Like there's reports that Sean McVay actually prefers to run Wolford in the offense because he has more mobility. That he believes his decision making is better and more consistent than Jared Goff. And I think he has a point. Wolford did very well at the end of the season last year. So, I mean, look, the trade would make sense if you're the Rams. It just doesn't make much sense if you're the Texans because are you going to get a better offer from someone else? Probably yes. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying Deshaun Watson wouldn't want to go to LA, but he has a no trade clause as well. He can defer anything, and New York, Miami are two of his top destinations. So if he didn't list LA, I think that's either because maybe he doesn't want to go there, or maybe he doesn't have any. He doesn't see the potential of him going there. Maybe he just doesn't think that's a realistic possibility. So I don't think the Rams are one. Keep an eye on one. This is an interesting one too. Keep an eye on the San Francisco 49ers because I think that's a team that, are you sold that Jimmy G's your guy? Are you sold that he's going to be the guy to lead you back to a Super Bowl after, a very lukewarm Super Bowl run on his part? He was good. He wasn't great, though. He wasn't the reason they were in the Super Bowl. And also, the next season, he got injured. And what happened the year before they went to the Super Bowl, Andrew? He got injured. And the year before that, when they first traded for him, he got injured. The dude has an injury history. Even went to the Patriots, dude got injured.
Remember, we know who Jacoby Brissett is because Jacoby Brissett was his backup.
Jacoby Brissett is collecting that paycheck from the Indianapolis Colts because of Jimmy G's tendency to get injured. And and we saw what that offense was like without their starting quarterback. It was not the same because, Jimmy G, at the end of the day, he's a very good quarterback, very good managing the game, and they feed off that play action, that run game. So Deshaun Watson, I think, could come in that offense and fit automatically. They have a decent receiving core, great running attack, and Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, doesn't get talked about a lot. He's one of the best, most underrated players in football. He would be a great piece, I think, for Deshaun Watson, kind of add that element into the offense. And that defense is just stout, and especially when you got Nick Bosa and all of them coming back, the defense is going to be stout. So I think that could be a potential landing spot. Be on the lookout for that. They also have a higher draft pick this year than they normally would, so because of the bad season they had. And, people don't talk about it, but, at the end of the day, their coach has only had one good run in his years there. He's only had one good year. And, a lot of it is due to injury, but at the same time, is that acceptable for Ted York, the owner? Is that what he wants to do? Is that the type of thing, at what point are the excuses for the San Francisco 49ers going to run out? Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.